Hello and welcome to the Voice of Iron, and in this session, we'll be reading about the Fafnir Assault Mech. Description: the Fafnir can be considered Defiance Industries of Hesperus's flagship Battlemech. Originally, the Defiance was intended to be the flagship mech, but its actions tainted its reputation, so it was overshadowed in this role by the Fafnir. The Fafnir is built on a lightweight Foundation Type 220 endo-steel chassis that's capable of supporting the Fafnir's massive weapons payload and armor while weighing half as much as a standard chassis. The slow assault design serves as a platform for a pair of Thor's Hammer's heavy Gauss rifles. To power this massive mech, a Velar 300 fusion engine gives the Fafnir a top speed of 54 kilometers per hour. The Fafnir is protected by 19.5 tons of Duralex Special Heavy V2 armor, giving it as much armor as the entire mass of some light mechs. The Fafnir has case in both of its side torsos to protect it from secondary damage if one of the heavy Gauss rifles are damaged. Finally, for protection from enemy electronic warfare systems, the Fafnir has a Guardian ECM suite. Weapons and equipment. Based on the heaviest chassis available, the Fafnir sports two of what was the Lyran Alliance's newest weapon in the early 3060s, the heavy Gauss rifle. The largest non-artillery weapon in existence, the Hammer Fists can deal an immense amount of heavy damage very quickly. 4 tons of ammunition for each keep the weapons in good supply. The Fafnir cannot operate far from supply lines, however, as it only has 2 ER medium lasers and a medium pulse laser as backup. Variants: the FNR-5B. A lack of Thor's hammers during the Fedcom Civil War forced engineers to come up with a field modification that could be useful without the heavy Gauss rifles. The solution was to replace them with paired standard Gauss rifles, ER medium lasers, and an ER large laser. The added energy weapons reduce the 5B's ammo dependency compared to the original, but even with extra heatsinks installed, it can still run quite hot, so mech warriors must be mindful of their heat levels. The FNR-5WB. This Word of Blake variant replaces the torso weapons with an improved C3 computer and 4 plasma rifles. The arms retain the ER medium laser of the original Fafnir. It also carries 22 double heatsinks. The FNR-5X. This variant makes use of a pair of massive experimental improved heavy Gauss rifles and removes the pulse laser to provide 6 tons of ammunition for the 2 guns. The ER medium lasers are left untouched. These models were used by the Sky Guards during the Coalition attack on Terra. The FNR-6U. This variant removes all the standard weaponry. It carries an Ultra Autocannon 20 in each arm, while the side torsos each mount a pair of light PPCs. A light fusion engine is used to provide power, and light ferrofibrous armor provides protection. 12 double heatsinks are hardly enough to keep this variant's heat under control. And the custom variant, FNR-4A. This was a salvaged command mech piloted by Archon Peter Steiner Davian during the occupation of Tharkad from 3067 to early 3072. This customization removes the left torso heavy Gauss rifle, half the ammo for the HGRs, and left torso case and ER medium lasers. It has been fitted with 10 rocket launcher 10s. Also, in the left torso are 2 extended range large lasers. In each of the arms and in the head, a medium pulse laser has been added. It makes use of a compact gyro, making room for one of the 10 launchers, a Guardian ECM suite, and a C3 slave computer. Personal notes. The Fafnir, for how little lore it has written about it, is my first favorite Battlemech. The SARNA article might not have that much to say, but that doesn't stop me from loving this thing. I grew up with my first MechWarrior video game, MechWarrior 4, and this thing was, at least to me at the time, the apex of what you could get mech-wise in the game. Sure, the Atlas was cool, and I did like running assault mechs in that game, but this thing was on a whole other level. I could walk up to something, point at it, fire, and it was gone. I had a tendency to set everything to Alpha Strike back in those days because I didn't understand what heat management was when I was a kid. And I wondered why I shut down so often. But the Fafnir feels like it was built for Alpha Striking, especially at long range. So I look at something, twin heavy Gausses just make impact, and unless you are also driving an assault mech, you are dying. If I get a torso hit, or even a side torso hit, on most mechs with a Fafnir, you are dead. You are gone. And that was awesome. I absolutely love this thing. I even had a custom variant that I made. Back in MechWarrior 4, you could tune up the fusion engine to go faster. So I would strip off, I believe I stripped out the medium lasers and stripped out a lot of the armor, admittedly. And I cranked this thing's speed up as big as the engine could go. Or rather, as much as it would allow me to. And I made this thing roughly as fast as a medium mech. Sure, it was now only as well armored as, say, a lighter heavy mech, but this thing could move at the speed of a medium mech, hit with the power of the assault mech it was designed to be, and it was just insanity. I named that variant Lavos after the final boss of Chrono Trigger because I thought it was really cool. That was another game I played growing up. And ultimately, the Fafnir has just remained a real treat for me when it comes to MechWarrior. Sure, as I grew up and as I got older, I found that there were mechs that were technically better at certain things, and I found designs that, I found myself gravitating towards more for lore reasons or for mechanics reasons, but I have never actually lost my love for this thing. I have a model of it. It's the only IronWinds metal model that I currently own, although I'll probably get more, but the Fafnir is just so cool. I love this thing. It's great. It's the reason why I main Steiner. It's the reason why I have decided to primarily paint Steiner mechs, because in that video game, in MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, the only way to get the Fafnir, at least that I was aware of, I'm sure there's other ways, but I was a kid. I didn't exactly look at wikis on how to get stuff. Well, you would have to ally yourself with Steiner in the FedCom Civil War in order to get one of these things. And so I would, constantly. So I grew up knowing that, well, Steiner's the guys who give you this. So I want to be on their side. And so even when I kind of learned about the tabletop game and got into MechWarrior 5, I still cannot shake that interest in Steiner. And I definitely have not shaken my interest in the Fafnir. MechWarrior 5 doesn't have it because, from what I have gathered, it doesn't have a lot of the clan invasion or post-clan invasion mechs yet. But that said, I love the Fafnir. It's a fun mech. It's a cool mech. This video has become far less of a reading and far more of a rant, but that's really what I wanted to share. The Fafnir is my favorite Battlemech, or at least my first favorite Battlemech. My taste may change over the years. I may have more interest in one design or another over the years, but my first favorite Battlemech is the Fafnir. FNR-5. Anyway, that concludes today's reading/rant, and thank you for listening to my voice.